Sejam muito bem-vindos ao Ibagenscast dessa sexta-feira, Ibagenscast muito especial, porque conta com uma lenda da bateria do heavy metal. Quem fala aqui, como de praxe, é o Manu, e antes da gente começar a trocar essa ideia com essa lenda da bateria, eu peço para que você se inscreva no nosso canal, ative as notificações, deixe o like, é muito importante, nos siga nas redes sociais, quem quiser e puder, contribua com o nosso trampo via Pix. Hoje a gente vai falar com um baterista que é lendário, ele que é muito famoso no meio do power metal, mas que ele começou como um baterista de metal progressivo. A gente vai falar bastante sobre a carreira dele. Eu tô falando, obviamente, do Alex Holzwarth. How are you doing, Alex? It's really nice to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
Nice. So you're living in Germany?
Yes.
Which
I still
place?
live in Germany, Munich, you know the famous beer fest in Munich, Oktoberfest.
Oh.
I'm sure you heard about it. And
Yeah,
I mean, that's the place where I live. It's a nice place, actually.
Nice place.
Yeah, it's cool.
Nice. So you used to go to these beer festivals?
Yeah, I grew up here in Munich, so I was there when I was a school child. I went there after school to the beer fest, so all my life. And now it's such a touristic place. I mean, of course, in the pandemic time, there was no Oktoberfest, but now it's kind of ridiculously expensive, and there's just tourists, which is great. I mean, but for me, it's like there are other places to go, But it's a great place. It's a great place, great food, of course, great beer, For beer fans, it's amazing.
And I can imagine it get full of foreign people when there's these festivals, right? A lot of people from
absolutely.
Brazil?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe yes, but from all over the world, Australia, and all those beer fans are coming.
Nice. Okay, let's start. You just played in Prog Power USA recently, right?
Yes.
I'm big friends with Milton Mendonça, which is the co-producer of the event. So how was it playing there?
It was amazing. I mean, we had a really tough day. We went there one day before the show, and then on the show day we had sound check in the morning. Then we had rehearsal afterwards for 4 or 5 hours, blah blah, and then we made the show. But it was the first show actually after this pandemic, which is still going on, of course. But for us, it was very important to see how it works out. To meet the guys again, to play again together.
Wow.
And in my opinion, it went extraordinarily well because we had a lot of fun. The people were happy. They talked about the energy on stage we brought to the stage and stuff like this, which is man, we had so much fun, everyone, and the people really, really liked it. We played a lot of hits, So this is what's gonna happen when we come back to South America too, I hope so.
Oh, nice. So we can expect.
It was great. It was
amazing.
It was amazing. Really, it was amazing. Great first show after this pandemic.
Oh, it must have been amazing, especially after everything we've been through with the pandemics, right? To see lots of people together singing your songs.
Yes, it was great, and also we went to the after show party. And there were people we met, in past tours in the States when we toured with, back then with Manowar and the Rhapsody of Fire years. There were a few people there, and we were talking about those times. And you know what? I remember the faces, and since so many years, and that was so great because it really seems like the world is like really a small place,
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So coming home, great, really.
It is. Alex, you are also a drum teacher, right?
Yes.
I'd like you to tell us about your career as a teacher. How did you start to give lessons? And how long have you been teaching? And has it been affected by the pandemics?
Yeah. So, first of all, I started some years ago. I think now you have to calculate because, I mean, I was. It started actually when I was doing the Angels Cry recording. It was quite similar. I tried to do private lessons and kind of that things, but that really never worked out. So I went to Drummers Focus to the drum school myself in Munich, which is a really, really great school where you learn all stylistics and all that kind of stuff. And so I went there and learned really the philosophy behind the stuff. And before I learned everything on myself, you know, being a fan, listening to metal, to all kind of stuffs actually. And there was a point where I did not really go any further. So I had to do something. So that was the reason I went to this drum school. And then I became a teacher myself, and I'm still teaching on the school like more than 25 years, constantly. It's crazy, huh?
Yes, it is.
It is, and it's really fun because for me it's like helping people to get out of their problem scenery. You know, when they play, their needs. You know, you watch somebody play and you see immediately, hey. We can do something here and there, and it's super easy. It's nothing hard to do. It's everyone can do it actually, and there are no secrets, and that helps so many people. That's something really great. That was the question, right?
Yeah, and how was it affected by the pandemics?
Yeah, that was actually great because all the students stayed with me, even doing online lessons, and that was fantastic. So I worked here actually in the kind of studio, and that was amazing. That nobody said like, I mean, two guys did not want to have this online thing because they had no drum kit to do it, and but the rest, all the students, they stayed with me, and during the pandemic, the whole time, and doing online lessons. That was amazing. So for me, I was in a lucky position actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice to know it. You are best known here in Brazil as a power metal drummer, but the truth is that your origins are deep in progressive heavy metal, right? So first of all,
Yes.
tell us how the band Seeds even came about, and how was the history of the band until the first record, which was Life Cycle from 1988. That was the year I was born. I know you guys released some demos before that, so tell us how was the history of the band back then.
How it started. Actually, I was not a progressive metal fan because it was back then it was called actually techno trash, and before that we had a normal techno trash was the name of that stuff. When Watchtower came up, you know, that was like thrash metal combined with techno, like progressive now. That was the word back then. And we had Mekong Delta, we had Sitges Even, and we had Watchtower and all those great bands. But we were in school, and my brother was a bass player, and they did not find actually a drummer. Sitges Even was originally called Sodom back then, and I had a band, but they did not get another drummer. And for my brother, it was a little bit strange to play with a younger brother. You know how it is with brothers, but they had no choice, and then they said like, okay, let's try, and yeah, it was great. It was great. We started, and we took the name progressive very seriously. So we wanted to try to write new things. You know, it's not like nowadays where everybody says like you cannot do something new in the music scene anymore because everything was already there. Maybe it's true, but back then it was like you wanted to reinvent music. So we made everything like not repeating anything, always trying new parts, and you know, making that kind of stuff. And of course, copying other bands which we liked, putting it together into something new. So that was when it started with Sitges Even. Yeah, my first and most important band in my life.
Oh, sure. And the band's first album is kind of a mix of prog metal and thrash metal, as you said.
Yeah.
And after that, the band started releasing albums with especially instrumental parts more focused on prog metal. Was this change natural or was it planned?
Huh. I don't know. I don't know if you can keep this. I don't know. We tried just to do our best. We were like still big fans of Anthrax, Metallica, and all those speed metal bands, and that was our main influence. Metal Church, first record, and Hades, and all those great bands. And you mean from the first record life cycle to Steps, right? This
Yes.
change into more progressive. Actually, it was natural completely. So we just made what we wanted to do, and there was nothing planned. We went in a rehearsal studio, in our rehearsal studio, and just rehearsed every week and wrote all the records and tried to do the best we can, like mixing Marillion parts with Rush, Flageolet parts, and and all that kind of stuff. So when you're young, you are not, you have limited things to tell on your instrument. So you try to do the best anyway.
Mhm.
If you want to copy somebody, you're quite more limited. You should really focus on the things you can do the best.
My favorite album of Sage Even is A Sense of Change, which came out in 1991. It's kind of a perfect record, the masterpiece. And after that, you really became known to the Brazilian audience because in 1993, you recorded a record that went down in history, especially in Brazilian heavy metal. And it's Angra's first album, Angels Cry. Can you tell us how this happened?
Yeah, I mean, we had Charlie Bauerfeind as an engineer first for the Steps recording.
Mhm.
And so we get to know Charlie, which is a friend of us, and then he was the producer of A Sense of Change in '91. And actually, it was like Angra was in Hamburg, and Charlie was working with them. Sascha Piet was also there, and then they needed a drummer somehow to help out in the situation that they are already all there. They brought all the money, and they had to record the drums, and they had some issues. So Charlie called me and said, "Hey, can you come to Hamburg today?" And I was like, I remember I was working in the mail, mail service, post. So I was working to do something to financially get over, to be a musician in the end. So I said like, hey, I can come at Friday. I can take the train to Hamburg. That was the studio where they recorded the record, Kai Hansen studio. And so I went with the train at night, and next morning we met, and we rehearsed one song after the other and recorded it. There were 2 days or something to do it, or 3.
Nice.
And it was pretty tough, so to say. But in the end, it was something really great. I'm super proud of it.
Yeah. The result was really impressive, especially for a 1993 album. The thing is, the band back then had a drummer, and the drummer was Marco Antunes, which had released a demo called Reaching Horizon, and he is a great drummer. Did Charlie told you what exactly happened for him to call you to record?
I mean,
the drum?
I met him, Marco Antunes,
Marco.
right? Marco. I met him actually there, but they had I don't know if it was. I was there later on when they decided to have me, to help out. So I don't know the exact things, and it was not a big thing to talk about. I'm sorry for him to not play the record actually, because they were a band, and it's not always easy. And back then you had to finish the record somehow. And I know that Charlie is pretty much a perfectionist, and it can be that it was a little bit more the drumming things were like maybe the Brazilian way and the European way is a little bit different, and that can be a reason. I don't know. So, but I was not involved in that things like decision and stuff. So I just tried to help out to make them finish the record, actually, because it was very important. They put all the money in the record to make it, So
nice. And what impression did you get when you listened to the songs at first? Did you knew many bands that sounded like Angra back then,
Yeah.
or was it something new?
New. For me, it's very funny because when I was in CHS Even, we always tried to really reinvent stuff in a complete different way, we thought, So for me, Angra was like a speed metal band with orchestra, which was not new for me at all. I thought, it was super familiar. It was speed metal with some orchestral things, which came later on, When I played the songs, for me, the rhythms I played were like the roots of that stuff were like playing speed metal, Metallica, Slayer kind of things, and double bass, and was great songs. And but for me, it was not new at all. No, I'm sorry to say, but maybe I'm totally wrong, and we were like young and stupid back then. But with CHS Even, we tried to find really something to cross borders and all that kind of stuff. And that was Angra was like metal. So for us, it was metal, and we tried always to go into prog rock, to mix it with this and that and pop elements and stuff. So for me, it was nothing new. I was wrong. I'm happy that I was wrong. I'm happy for the guys. It was great experience to work with those guys. Everyone.
Nice. Let's go back to CHS Even. After the album Uneven from 1997, which was the fifth album of the band, the band went on a hiatus and only released another album in 2005. Well, in 2000, you released a demo called Equinox by a band called Looking Glass Self. And this band basically was CHS Even with Andre Matos on vocals. What exactly happened to form this band? Was CHS Even broken up and Looking Glass Self a new band?
Actually, CHS Even was always there. I remember when we split and stopped, we decided as a band after Uneven, we wrote new songs for the next record. Actually, we could not find a record deal. And then we were like sitting together in a pub and discussing all together what we should do as next, if we continue or not. And then we said, no, let's come on, let's finish now. Also, the songs were not really, we were not so satisfied because we always tried to, from one record to the other, to do something completely different. We always tried. And that material sounded quite the same like the previous records. So when I came home, I took the phone and I called Markus, the other guitar player, if he's interested in doing something together again. The name for me, it doesn't matter. It was we tried to do something new. I think when a band starts again something new, to change the name is always something good. But for the marketing, it's hard to do. And you see also with Turilli, Leone, Rhapsody, the name, blah, blah. For me, always important is the music. The name is nice if you have a great name and you can do a good marketing. But in the end, we formed this band, which was called Valparaiso, first of all. And then it went into Looking Glass Self. We worked through all the years. So there were not like 2 years, nothing. And then we formed Looking Glass Self or something. But we always had this band, CHS Even, going on. Me and my brother always constantly together and changing, musicians like 2 times or maybe more. And then we had to find a singer, which was like, we found a great solution for the songs with Andre Matos, which is like, for me, great that the songs are still available. They were never released properly. And I'm happy that you can listen to the tracks on YouTube because I don't have them anymore. And So Andre did a fantastic job.
Was you who called Andre to join the band?
Yeah, but to join the band was not the topic. Actually, we were just searching for a voice to fit and to get a record deal, and then see what's gonna happen. I think that was the situation. Also, Andre had Virgo with Sasha Pete at the same time. I know Sasha very well. He's a friend of mine. I recorded Rhapsody over there in his studio, and we were like in contact. And I don't remember who called Andre. Of course, it was me, I guess, but I don't know where I had the number from whom. I think there was also Sasha or something. And and he was actually, he was coming to Munich and for a few days and recorded in the studio the vocal tracks. He made all the melodies, and it was just amazing, especially if you listen now.
Yes.
I get goosebumps now because it's a really kind of soft music and very atmospheric, melancholic set. And I know why we did this together. There's always a reason for something. And over the years, it was like music was somewhere lost. And if you listen now, after he passed away, it's really something deep, I guess.
Yeah, and in between the Angels Cry record and this release, Angra has released 2 other records. Holy Land and Fireworks. Did you listen to them?
Andre actually gave me a copy of Fireworks and Holy Land. I heard some tracks, but there was no Spotify and something, so I did not buy the CDs to listen. Mm-hmm. It was for me, it was always when I was involved in the band, and I never listened so much those kind of music. I always had a different kind of music I was listening to. So I listened some parts, and I think over the years in metal discotheques, you always get to listen. Angra, the second record I think is fantastic. Fireworks, they tried a new producer. Was different. I know all the stories and stuff. So I follow the bands, but I think they made great records. Even after that, absolutely.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the band has had a big change in 2000. Andre Matos, Ricardo, the drummer, and Luis, the bass player, they split. Yeah. They had a new formation with Achilles Priester on drums. Do you know Achilles?
Yeah, sure.
Great drummer.
Yeah. Great guy, great drummer. Yes.
Nice. And also during these Sieges even hiatus of albums, you did some interesting works. For example, you recorded the first 2 albums of Avantasia. How did you join the band?
I did not join the band. It was just a studio project, one-time studio project, actually. It was the same like with Angra. It was like an accident. It was something... I remember, I think Daniel Zimmermann was supposed to play it, but he could not rehearse the songs. And Toby just had, those small recorders where you can sing your ideas on it with a cassette.
Yeah.
With a tape inside, a small one. So he needed to put the songs together with a band, which we did in the Kai Hansen studio again in Hamburg. So he needed the drummer to be there for at least 1 week. We made 3 songs a day. We arranged everything. Toby was sitting behind his keyboard and telling okay, this is the drum part, you play double bass, and on this part you can do whatever you want, no double bass, blah, blah, blah. And for the bass, he had simple ideas, but we could do what we wanted. And we made it in the rehearsal studio with Henyo and Marcus, of course. And we made the songs, we put it together. In the same room I recorded Angels Cry, actually. Oh. Same fucking room. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting, The Kai Hansen studio was the same room. Yeah. And just imagine. And I was there with my drum kit and with Markus Großkopf from Halloween and Henyo from Gamma Ray, which were rock stars for me. I was still not in Rhapsody, came later with the first single. I joined Rhapsody. But before it was just CGC, which was like a cult band, you know. So I was like, oh my God, I can play with those guys. Are crazy. I saw Halloween back then, and for me it was like, wow, that's amazing.
Great, incredible.
Yeah. 99.
How did a prog metal drummer became so well requested in the power metal world? Was it the Angel's Cry record?
That's a good question. I mean, Angel's Cry was for sure super important, but you have to know that after Angel's Cry came out, there was no internet. So for all the next, I don't know, 10 years, I did not hear anything about this band at all, because in Europe was not the same like in Brazil.
Yeah,
I knew when they were touring and stuff, and I met them again a few years later on Wacken, still with Andre, I think Fireworks tour, yeah. And Sasha Pete was working with Charlie together, so he was a guy introducing me to Rhapsody, because he worked later on with Rhapsody, and they needed a drummer to be good at click track recording or playing live with all the sample stuff going on on a sampler. So if you want, I think those were the guys who always ask me for something. But I'm not that super well requested, It's a lot of time.
I
was doing those few records, and before that, I have to say, I was also my first record I made as a studio drummer was thrash metal, actually. Before Angel's Cry. Angel's Cry was my first official studio record, which is great. It was a big step for me, a very special place in my heart. But my very first thing I made was like, I don't remember, I think it was 89 or 90 with Headhunter. Schmier's Destruction had his own band after they fired him from Destruction, because we partied too hard here in Munich when they were here recording Crack Brains.
Really?
They were in a great studio. Yeah. It was funny. And so that was, different kind of story. Funny story. Yeah, I mean,
okay. So as you said before, you joined Rhapsody after Avantasia. How did you join Rhapsody?
They had a tour with Stratovarius and Sonata Arctica, the first tour in 2000. And Limp called me and they asked me if I can do the tour. And I was like, okay. I mean, Sasha Pete sent me the Symphonies of the Enchanted Lands.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that was before, I was like, why are you sending me a power metal CD? I don't listen power metal. I was thinking to myself. And I was okay, let's see. I mean, it was great. I liked it. It was really something fresh. And the riff of Emerald Sword is super unique. But I was like, Sieges Even was like 150 double bass. At the second record, I was not allowed to play double bass in Sieges Even because it was too much metal. We wanted to go into the Rush serious direction with the band, and not into this childish speed metal Venom style, And okay, we did. I was like, okay, let's try, And then I had to learn how to play fast in a very short amount of time, because I think it was like 5 weeks or something to learn how to play 180, actually, all songs on 180. And that was quite a challenge. I went to the rehearsal place every hour I could. Before teaching, I went, to the rehearsal place in the morning to have 1 hour, 2 hours training. First before I worked, and then I went back to the rehearsal to study again, blah, blah. So that was crazy, but and then we went to Wolfsburg to rehearse, and then there was the tour. So there was no audition, which is totally great, actually.
Yes.
And crazy at the same time.
Nice. Okay, so Siege even finally releases a new album in 2005, The Art of Navigating by the Stars. What made the band release albums again?
Let me think about it. It was, after Looking Glass Self, that was already, we found a new singer. which was Arno,
Yes.
which was already at the Art of Navigating by the Stars and Paramount and Playgrounds, a live record. And we made already Looking Glass Self with him after Andre. We did not find a record deal. We did not stop. We tried. I don't remember. We made new songs and stuff. You cannot stop. You know, you have to to live your dream. And we still tried and tried. So that was the next step. Was kind of, I don't know why we said like we want to call us Sieges Even again, because we were Sieges Even. You know, I mean, come on, we are the guys, and so that was, I don't know who came up with the idea, but then we had more chances with the record company. Maybe it was the management back then who told us, hey, call it Sieges Even again. I don't remember actually. But then we wrote the record, and it was a fantastic time for us, and to make this one, and it's a really special one, The Art of Navigating by the Stars.
And that's my second favorite album.
Second, which after Sense of Change. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Similar with both records is like those two records are not played with any click track. The first two, the first two also, but those were played live. You know, when you have this bass guitar and you play, and then again and again, like the whole band, like also Angels Cry actually. It was like all the bands in a room playing. It's not like nowadays you're recording the drums and then you put it digital, then you edit it and send it 100 perfect computer style. Yeah, it's interesting, you know. You can hear it if you listen to it. It's more.
You just say that it was like Angels Cry. So Angels Cry was no click track?
No click track. At least maybe sometimes, but I think we did not have any click track. If I'm not super wrong now, but yes, because there was one double bass, where they made the first video on the hill, where there was a double bass in the end, 16 triplets, and they told me when I recorded it, hey Alex, you went a little bit more fast on that track, on the double bass, you were getting more fast, and I was like, okay, but you know that's because there was no click track.
Oh, yeah. Nice. That's news, because
it's great. I think
we know very few about this period, and what were the reasons that made Charlie Bauerfeind change the drummer to record. And one of the things that the Brazilian fans says in internet and forums and etc. is that Marco, the former drummer, couldn't play properly on the click, and they needed someone that was used to play on click track. So that's why they called you. And now you say that there were no click track.
But maybe the meaning is, it's about really if you rehearse to a click track all the time and then you record without a click track, this can be also the same meaning that you know, it's more like constant in the sense of playing to a click track, which, hey, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I don't think so that we had a click track. Maybe I'm wrong. It's fucking long time ago, man. So I'm sorry for the Brazilian fans if I'm wrong here, but I think it can be what I said before, like the European style of drums. And maybe Charlie wanted to have something which worked out for him. You know, Charlie is he has his vision, and for the success of something. And Charlie, I hope I'm not saying anything wrong, but he has his vision, and he's always like perfectionist, and maybe it was more Latin style, and you know, to kind of timing movements and stuff, which can be great, but maybe that was the issue, but I don't know. But I think it was no click track.
Okay, nice. What about Charlie Bauerfeind? Is it hard to work with him?
I don't work with him anymore, unfortunately. Last time I met him was in Kai Hansen's studio again. It was, that was rehearsal for rap. I don't remember. But I don't work with him anymore because he has his bands he's working for, and I am not in one of those bands. So I worked always more with Sasha Pete, you know, with Rhapsody and certain studio projects, and Avantasia also with Sasha Pete later. No, unfortunately, maybe in the future, you never know.
Yeah,
If somebody's calling me, but I know all the bands already, you know, like Guardian I played with, I don't think they're gonna call me because they have somebody, you know. So yeah, let's see. My life's going fast.
Yeah, but about the records that you recorded with him as a sound engineer or as a producer,
Yeah,
how was it working with him?
very
He's really
hard.
perfectionist.
Oh man, yeah. I'm telling you, it's really. I mean, we started out with CHZ actually. He made all the first 3 records with us. First 3 with CHZ, and the first CHZ record was the very first, which he started going into the metal scene in Germany. Actually, with Steamhammer, the connection with our record label back then. He always wants to. What's always forgotten in nowadays is like. When you have a producer, he's like responsible to get the best out of your performance.
Yes.
And this is something which is the people now just think like they do it like an engineer. They put the things together and then it's gonna be edited, and you know it sounds like a machine, super great,
Yeah.
auf Wiedersehen. But back then it was like you did the performance and it's like, yeah, it's cool, but you can do better. And he was really forcing you to get the best out of you. And after every session I made with him, I came home and I was like, my God, I have to learn this and that and that. And that was really a tough school for me. And I think it's very important you know, it shaped me completely for my later career. So studio time is not like, oh, you go inside, you have a killer sound, you sound like, you know, you're a drum god and you're just doing like this, you know. It's more like you are going to work and they just do this with you.
It's a long journey. Yeah.
A long journey, and it changed it because when you're on a certain kind of level, then you have you understood a lot of things, you know. You're getting more wise in your drumming style, so you know what you do, and then it's gonna be more easy. And also, I think the producer, they're always also getting wiser in their job, and it's quite interesting, you know. But he always did a great job, and he's a fantastic producer. And you know, I'm super happy that we met and we made those records together.
Nice. And again, about Six Even, why did the band end its activities after 2008?
2008, because I have to think about it. I think there was a conflict with, yeah, I mean, it's always the same. We wanted to reach more, I guess, you know, with the band. We wanted to reach more success, and there were the tours, and you know, not so much people and all that kind of stuff, which was the same for the break up for the first breakup, that kind of stuff. So there were different kind of ideas, you know. Marcus and Arno had their ideas, me and my brother had our thing. We wanted, and that didn't fit anymore. So yeah, why not? It's not a problem. If there's no success, it's easy to say, okay, man, come on. It's better to go to barbecue on Friday night than going in the rehearsal room.
Oh, yes.
Right? Sometimes, not always. You know?
Way easier. Okay.
Yeah, easier in any case, yes.
And in 2016, you leave Rhapsody of Fire and joined Turilli and LIONE'S Rhapsody. What made you make that decision?
I wanted to leave much more early, even before Fabio. And then I really was not satisfied because I was playing on stage. My brother was gone from Rhapsody of Fire, and I was watching, and you know, always new people, and I was missing the guys on stage the other original ones, and my brother and this and that and that. So I was like, hey, come on, I don't feel home anymore.
Yes.
And Fabio left, and then for me, I mean, I was there before telling Alex to, hey, I wanna leave, and we were always like, come on, blah blah blah. And then he left, and I said, hey, I left before, and I'm still in. So we have to find what to write that I can finally go, And and the new direction is like, I don't know. I mean, I hope everyone is happy, and
Nice. And the funny thing is that that was the period, I think, 1 year before, that Fabio Lione joined Angra. And have you listened to his records with Angra?
Yeah. Always, again, I always get one song to hear. Yeah. It's great, man. They know what to do. Fantastic musicians. I mean, come on. All the records from Angra are great. I don't think there's any record which is not good.
Yeah.
I always when they come to Munich, I'm there. Always. When I'm here, they play here in Munich, I'm there. So I watch it live.
Oh, nice. And like 3 years ago, unfortunately, Andre Matos has passed away. You recorded a very important album on Andre's life, which is Angels Cry. And then you had a band with him. How did you get to know about his passing? Can you remember?
It was actually social media. I could not believe it. Actually, I saw the picture, and there was this cross.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck? I cannot believe it, and that was a shock. That was a shock. Like, that was really. I still can't believe it.
Yeah, man, he was so young, 47 years.
Yeah, more young than me, and we were not like I said in the documentary. Also, we did not talk all the time together. It was like some years no talking like it is in the music world. And when we met, it was we met and we were kind of friends, and it was always great, And now we cannot talk anymore, and it's just like. It just happened, and you cannot change anything, and I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Life's crazy. It was really a shock.
It is.
I was not expecting this, never.
Oh man, nobody was. That was really tough.
I know.
Andre is like a hero for all of us Brazilians.
I know.
It was really hard to make heavy metal in Brazil, and to have a band like Angra that got the attention of Europe and Japan. It made us very proud. So Andre Matos he still is a big symbol, of success and of.
Absolutely, I know. I mean, I know from back then it was Sepultura, of course.
Sure.
And then there was Angra coming. I remember the pages in Germany. The metal. They were writing like "Who's Sepultura?" That kind of things. But Sepultura was really something for the scene. But I think the first Brazilian band, right, which was international success, and then Angra came, which was more melodic, and
Absolutely.
Viper, of course. You don't know that the drum kit on one Viper record is my drum kit, because they, Viper, the band from Andre.
Yeah.
So they recorded one record.
Oh, really?
Munich.
The Viper band is your kit?
My drum kit. Yeah, Charlie made the second after, I think, after Andre. Exactly. And then he called me and, hey, Alex, do you have the drum kit? Can you give
it was after Andre left?
Yes.
Then it was the Evolution.
With the bicycles.
Evolution. Yeah.
And they were recording, they were recording in Munich at the same place where also Destruction were recording, it's always the same places. And I gave them my drum kit, actually. And so I know the guys, but maybe they don't remember. But that's funny because this is why I just remember that Viper was a band which had a big success with Andre's hit in Japan, right?
Yes.
And then there was Angra with this melodic thing, what was a big thing in France, of course. And it's fantastic to be part of it, really, actually.
Nice. Hey, a question about your life and your family. Your brother is a bass player, right,
Mhm.
Oliver? And what made you choose the drums and he choose the bass?
He chose the bass, and I'm talking for Oliver now. Ollie, excuse me. um, I remember he said he was on the phone with a friend of him back then. We were in school, little boys, and he was telling like, oh, Motley Crue, the bass looks great, like so, hanging down, super cool and stuff. That back then, the bass was very important in bands like Motorhead, and you can hear the bass very loud. Kiss, all the main guys are bass players, and they write a lot of songs and stuff. And
Geddy Lee
of
from
course,
Rush.
Geddy Lee, of course, man. Thanks. And he was super into that bass, bass playing, blah. And also we had disco and Bonnie M and all that kind of music, which was like, a lot of bass. And it's a pity nowadays that we don't have it so much in the metal music, but I always tell the people it's coming back for sure. If we stop playing double bass constantly all the time, the bass player and the drummer have to get together and do something creative together. But and then I said, well, I want to play bass too, because I had no idea what to say. I was in the car with my parents, and he said, oh, you're crazy. Can I play the same instrument like me? And then I said, okay, then I play drums, and that was, I don't know, that was the right choice. I don't know what happened if I would have played bass or guitar or something. You never know. But I liked drums, of course, because it was loud and was, destroying things, and I love it. That's the
Nice.
story behind it.
And Seats even basically is you and your brother. You had some lineup changes, but the main strength of the band is you and
Yeah,
Oliver.
I
Uh,
could
is there
say yes.
is
Hmm.
there any chance of you guys joining forces again and doing something new with the band?
Never say never. Actually, Sieges Even was always the band of the four guys who were in the band. Or five,
Yes.
but we had keyboard players too.
Mhm.
So I would not say it's me and my brother, because we were just the two of four, and it was always giving everyone the same space. We wanted to have everyone involved 100% and share everything and have a vision together, and that kind of things you dream about when you start a band, when you're in school, when the money is not coming in, and problems. So I would say it was always like the four who were in the band, absolutely, and it would not do justice for the guitar players and who are doing the chords and the melodies, and especially Wolfgang Zenk. We wrote everything always together in a rehearsal room. The latest records were more like sending ideas, which I did not like so much in the end, because we were not living in the same, not in Munich all
Yeah.
together, I think, in the end. And that maybe was also a reason to separate in the end. But we created everything together, so it was all of us. So, and for the future, I don't think we're gonna do it, because we were there. The people always ask for a reunion, and I tell the people, hey man, we have the records out. I mean, at least on YouTube, we're working on this maybe, but for what, And those songs to write is such an effort. You have to dedicate all your heart to this thing, and who wants to pay my rent,
Yes.
And I'm very happy with doing what I do now. I was always waiting for having the same creative impact again, like in my band, where I also wrote melodies and songs quite, I was singing this stuff and blah. But I'm super happy now what I do now, playing, I don't know, I'm happy playing drums for, yeah.
Very cool. But don't you miss it?
No? I mean,
Oh.
no, it's a long time ago, man. I had the time. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
No, I don't have time to miss it. Actually,
That
that's the
was a
thing.
good answer.
I don't
That's
have
a good
time
answer.
for this.
If you say you don't miss it, it's better don't come back, man. If you're
Yeah,
happy with
yeah.
what you're doing.
It's the same like Toby always. He get questions about the Avantasia, the first records. Can you do something like with Markus Groskopf and Henyo? I always see those questions, and for him, I guess it's the same. He's so successful now, super successful with what he's doing now with Avantasia, and there's no reason. And you have the old records; those records are amazing. And it's really, really, everybody could play what he wanted, what we wanted, and that's why it is what it is.
Nice. Recently, after André Matos passed away, you've played here in Brazil in a show with Edu Falaschi. You remember that?
Yes.
It was in Rebirth of Shadows tour or Temple of Shadows in
So
concert.
now you see why. Of course, I know Achilles.
Exactly. Yeah. He was the drummer of that tour. And how was that experience, and how did you join the band for that gig?
It was very easy. They asked me to do this show. There was actually supposed another show in Brasilia, which was cancelled, and they made later on this festival. And I think Achilles had no time, so they asked me to do it, and I said yes, and then went there, and we made it. Easy as said. And I have to say, to meet Louis again and to play Carry On, that was something I was not aware of before, and we met, and that was amazing.
Nostalgic, right?
Yeah, it was the first time we played together since the recording, man. Just imagine. I mean, almost fucking 30 years.
Wow.
So that was something.
It's incredible how music connects people, right? And then you play Carry On. There's a question. I just had it right now. Do you guys
That's all the best questions.
Do you guys think, for example, you played Carry On in front of, I don't know, a lot of people when you played with Edu. Do you remember that time when you were recording? And again, when you were recording, do you think, oh, this is going to be huge, or it's just one more gig, and then time tells you that, okay, this is huge?
First of all, I never think about this going to be huge, because this is a categorizing your work. And I always tell my students that don't judge about yourself all the time. Forget it. This is not useful. You are what you are. Try to do your best and just do it. And that's the same with when I recorded a track. I like it, and that's for me the most important thing. The riff, the first, it's just amazing, right? And Carry On, and I just liked it, and I'm always 100% into it. So that's what I do, and there's nothing more or less, because this is me 100%. I'm gone in this, giving everything. There's no rest of like, oh, this is gonna be huge. I gotta buy a Ferrari. I buy a new house and stuff. And that's what I do. And about remembering the recordings and stuff. I still I remember a lot of things.
That show, and you see everyone singing. Don't you think, man, I was there making this song get born, and now everyone's singing it almost 30 years.
That's amazing. That's really something amazing. This touches me a lot. That I can't believe it, actually. This is the most nice moments, the best moments as in a musical career, to have this, to get back something from the fans, that's the best thing you can have. It can happen to you.
Absolutely.
It's something really, really, really special, and it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Nice. Today, Alex, do you consider yourself more a power metal drummer?
I was never a power metal drummer. I still don't like the word. Actually, I tell everyone that for me there was hard rock. There was, afterwards, there were from the people who want to sell music. There was heavy rock. Then there was heavy metal, and then after that, I stopped this speed metal. Okay, still okay. techno trash or trash metal, I still can take it. But then afterwards, sometimes the people ask me, can you explain this kind of metal? I tell them, hey man, that's like Lemmy said, hey man, it's all rock and roll. And stop categorizing your music, because if you do this, then later when you want to change from that to the other categorized piece, the fans won't like it. They're gonna criticize you. So you limit yourself in telling the people what you are doing. Why the people should know before they have to listen to the music. They have to enjoy the music, and they have to, just see that this is kind of great music, hopefully, and it doesn't matter what you want to call it, right? It's just to sell music. For me, this is like nonsense, actually.
Nice. And you had a tour with Rhapsody in Brazil before the pandemics, right?
Yeah.
And it was postponed, and these shows are going to happen. What can you tell for the fans? What can the fans expect from these shows?
Okay. Yeah, it was. We started actually. We were there we were in Mexico. We I think March 2020, right? We made the Hell in Heaven Fest, and that was the last show. Next day, everybody flew out and back home, and we almost started the tour. And yeah, it's crazy, and we have to wait again for so long now, and it's finally gonna happen. What the fans expect is, from my side, and if I am right for the others, they can expect everything we got to offer, which is a lot of power, a lot of energy on stage, the greatest hits, all greatest hits, because we saw what it happened in Atlanta when they had all the great, like Unholy Warcry, Emerald Sword, Wisdom of the Kings, and all these tracks they want to hear, we're gonna give it to them, and yeah, that's what they can expect, and I hope that's enough, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. We can't wait to come back.
Nice. And to finish, what are your current projects, and what can we expect from you for the future?
At the moment, I'm working on different kind of stuff, which I cannot talk about it now, but very soon. And I'm very happy about new directions or new doors opening now. And what you can expect is the only thing I can do, which is like playing drums and giving 100%, the best. And I'm still, working also on my butterfly double bass technique, things I want to release a little bit later on, because now I don't have any time again. But there's gonna be something like a workout book. And
is it a new kind of technique in drums?
I would not say it's a new kind of technique. It's like it's the most natural approach you can give to double bass drumming. So I would say that everything else before was like stucking somewhere and going from there to a different kind of technique. But I tried in all my 20 years doing double bass only classes since I joined Rhapsody, because I had to find a way to play all this fast stuff, and after the show to go to the parties, So I had to find a way where it's almost no effort to play it super powerful. And this is, if you are one with the nature, there's a super easy way to make it. All your problems you had before gonna be away, because there's no reason for them to be there. And that's my thing, I'm working with this all the time. I had one student before now from Chile. Now I have somebody from Berlin online, and we are talking about that kind of stuff. And of course, I want to give this to the people, because it's for me, it's something what changed my life. It's like you can really enjoy the crowd and the people and the songs more, because you're more passive.
Oh, nice. It's nice to know. So you can wait for some new things from Alex Holzwarth to help you to play drums better. You also give
Absolutely.
lessons online for a guy from Brazil. Is it possible to reach you to
Yeah.
make a class?
Yes. Yes. They can always send me a request on my social media. I did not really announce something because I'm still I'm too busy to do it right now. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm almost full with students and also for my new stuff coming up. I'm really busy to yeah. My time is so limited, you know. But yeah, they can always. I try to answer all messages I get on Instagram all the time.
No, that's
So
nice to know. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of Brazilian teenagers starting to play drums that would love to make a lesson with the Angels Cry drummer. So it's nice to know it.
yeah,
So anyone who wants
that's
to learn from Alex, just send him a
that
message
would
on Instagram.
that would be great. But you know, I would like to when I'm old later on. I'm not old yet, but when I'm old, I mean, you know, my thing is I like the one-on-one lessons the most, actually, to
Yeah.
tell the truth. And I want maybe later on, I want to really combine touring a bit with master classes and workshops, you know. And I think that would be something really cool to go in, like in the past, to go in the rooms in schools, music schools, and show them, you know, talk together and see the problems also of the people, not telling, hey, you have to do this and this and this. You have to see the student and to understand what is his way of reaching something, and from there you have to go into the different kind of positive solutions, you know. So that's what's my goal for the future. But life, you know, you never know, first of all, but it's always going to be a challenge and interesting.
Nice. Just a last question. In next year, Angels Cry will turn 30 years. You complete 30 years. So if you had an invitation, would you be in a gig with the guys of the original formation of the band, like Rafael, Kiko, Luis, just to make a gig and play the Angels Cry songs?
I think there's no reason not to do it, you know.
Nice.
You know, no, I mean, I don't know if they do something like this, but I know all the guys. Like we have a really good relationship all together, and it's you know, it's always a pleasure meeting them, having, you know, doing whatever, drinking a beer or playing a song or whatever, you know. It's always great. So man,
Oh
for
man,
me,
I would love to see it.
it's a kind of history, and whatever we do, whatever makes everyone happy, you know, I'm there, you know.
Nice. Okay. I know the guys. I talked to them, especially with Rafael. So I'm gonna tell him, hey, Alex said that there's no reason to not make it. So let's make it, man. Let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
but I'm sure he knows. But yeah, say hi to Raphael, please. Cool,
Okay, I
super.
will. Alex, this is it.
All
I
right,
really want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It was just a pleasure to me to talk with a
thank you
metal
very much.
legend. For me, I listened to Angels Cry since I was like 14 years. So it's talking to, for me, it's like talking to part of history of metal, part of my history. I'm really happy to do it. So I really appreciate for your time. Time is yours to say what you want to say to our audience, which is a big fan of your work also.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure, and I always like to talk about the stuff and, you know, this kind of things, and it's my pleasure, really. And thanks to the people watching it and who are maybe interested in this kind of legend. For me, it's
Yes.
still totally you know, it's like I'm just me, you know. I'm just a fan. I will always be a fan, a music fan. I will never be the, you know,
Rockstar. Yeah.
the rock star thing. And I'm a fan myself, so I know what it means for maybe you or somebody. And thanks for that. And I hope to see you all for the shows. And I really can't wait to come back again. And it's always special there in Brazil. Thank you very much. And yeah, see you next time. And
okay,
all the best.
I'm gonna finish in Portuguese, right?
Ok, cool.
Bom, pessoal, espero que vocês tenham curtido essa entrevista com o lendário baterista Alex Holzwarth, ele que gravou o Angels Cry, gravou com o Rhapsody, gravou com a Vantasia, gravou com o Sid Even, tem muita história, a gente falou sobre a carreira dele, espero que vocês tenham curtido. Se vocês gostaram, deixa o like, não se esquece de se inscrever no canal, ativar as notificações, deixar o like, nos seguir nas redes sociais, quem quiser e puder contribuir com o nosso trampo via Pix, e aguardem as nossas próximas entrevistas, beleza? Falou!